Texans lose to Tampa Bay. They start out 0-2. Might be one of the worst losses of the Demeco Ryans era, and it creates a lot of questions that we didn't anticipate talking about. Let's go inside the locker room. Post-game show starts now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop. Won't stop. Yeah.
All right, we are already pretty deep here. It is the Locker Room post-game show presented by Sleeper. My go-to sports app is Sleeper now. All the other apps that you become used to when it comes to following scores, they've slacked. They've cut funds. So on top of playing the higher-lower game, Sleeper is now my home for scores, and I strongly recommend that you download it and check it out. Higher-lower, one of the best games, but as far as just the overall app, it's great, and you can get $100 deposit match up to $100. Just use the promo code Locker. And if you would have been playing that today, you would have said, man, Nico Collins, the Texans really want to get the ball to Nico Collins. So you would have thought, higher than 5 receptions. Well, Nico Collins today, despite the fact that he started out so well, he ends with just 3 receptions and 52 yards. Not great. Here's my question, though. Whose fault is that? Because the natural inclination is, let's blame Nick Caley because you want to ride and die with the quarterback. Let's blame the offensive coordinator, who we'll get into. But 9 targets is not low. And if you watch the game, a couple of those throws, he had no chance to catch the ball. There were a couple throws that CJ Stroud made, including the one that probably is the source of your highest amount of frustration when they get to the 1-yard line. And we'll go through that. And they throw the ball a couple times. CJ Stroud threw a couple of passes that Shaq couldn't have been on Yao Ming's shoulders with Sean Bradley holding up Shaq. There was no chance. It wasn't even catchable, to the point where even DeMeco Ryans, who's typically the players coach that we talk about, that tends to coddle players, he even called out the throws. So I know that we want to. Oh, we'll get to Dare Ogunbowale too. But I know that we want to blame the offensive coordinator. But basically, what the offensive coordinator did was trust his quarterback, and the quarterback had 2 throws in which didn't even have a chance to catch it. Didn't even have a chance to catch it. Didn't even have a chance to get his hands on it. There is a lot to talk about when it comes to this team. There is a lot to talk about. And the 2 questions that I'm going to ask, and I can already see the chat saying, is how much of this 0-2 start is on CJ Stroud? I think a decent amount. Is this a flawless offense? Absolutely not. Does it feel like the weaponry is as bad as it's been in a while? Absolutely so. But you've also had 2 games where the opposing quarterback got his ass roughed up as well as CJ Stroud did, and those quarterbacks were able to get the job done. CJ Stroud has talked a lot about his body language, and I know a lot of times when blowhard media types like myself are blowhard fans like y'all, if y'all don't want to take the blowhard label, it's fine. I just felt like I would lump you in with what I was saying about myself. But whenever we talk about body language, it's like, what the hell are these people talking about? CJ Stroud has admitted that his body language is not good. And the Texans, if we just all things equal, the Texans in their first 2 games, the other team has had a better performing quarterback. And this isn't a situation where you face Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes the first 2 weeks. No, it wasn't too long ago when we were talking about CJ Stroud getting up to that elite level. Those are second tier guys, Baker Mayfield and Matthew Stafford. And CJ Stroud has not been as good as those guys. I thought there were 2 instances that we can point to when it comes to kind of what the hell is going on with CJ Stroud. And you can notice just the body language of CJ Stroud where he's just kind of defeated. He gets off to a good start, and then it just doesn't look like he's ready to go out there. And on the other hand, you have Baker Mayfield barking at CJ Gardner-Johnson and just going out there and leaving it all out there, being a gladiator. That's what Baker Mayfield did. But there were 2 instances today where I think you can point to CJ Stroud and you can point to what went on. And we'll get to the super chats in a sec. We'll get to DeMeco. We'll get to CJ. We will be on as long as you guys want to be on today. And then we'll be on at 9 a.m. on SNO with myself and Cody Stoots for the Normal Reaction Monday. And then the Texans Collective with myself, Stoots, and Sean Pendergast and Reginald Attila. It's gonna be a long next couple days. But the end of the first half is one thing that I'll point to. Why were they not even in a hurry to try to score, the Texans? You had the ball near midfield. Woody Marks pops a 7-yard run right off the top. And we finally saw some Woody Marks today. It seems like it's a week too late, but we saw Woody Marks. Woody Marks had the highest yards per carry at a 37-yard catch. And they're still using Dare Ogunbowale. And by the way, he also was better in pass pro than Dare Ogunbowale. This Dare Ogunbowale thing's getting pathetic, honestly. It's getting pathetic. If you want to make him a special teams captain and Frank Ross wants to go up there and Frank Ross's special teams, they gave him a chance to win. You want to go up there and cry and y'all want to talk about how great he is? That's fine. But Woody Marks needs to be out there. Dare Ogunbowale does not need to be out there. But at the end of the first half, for whatever reason, they were in no hurry to score. They let it go down to the 2-minute warning when they had 22 seconds left. And you know the most frustrating thing about that? Whenever you have the ball with 2 minutes, over 2 minutes, you can throw a pass and you don't even have to use a timeout. Or you can try to get a first down. But they had no desire at the end of the first half. No desire. And there have been a lot of basketball coaches that have said it. Some football coaches say it, but the end of halves is where you win games a lot of times. The Rams last week, they scored at the end of the half and then they scored at the start of the half. Texans had no desire to try to score. And it almost felt like, I don't know if this is CJ's fault. I don't know if this is DeMeco's fault. I don't know if this is Kaylee's fault. I don't know what it is. But DeMeco said that there were communication issues. CJ Stroud said he disagreed. So we're gonna get the first example of coach, quarterback not necessarily being on the same page in a sec. But they had no effing desire to score at the end of that first half. And it was pathetic. You scored on your first 2 possessions. You pop off 7 yards on first down. Isn't that when you're supposed to be aggressive? They had no desire. None. Didn't even put the defense on their heels. Like you pop that off with 2:20, you go to the line of scrimmage, put them on their heels a little bit. They didn't. They had no desire. They took it to the house like Trick Daddy. No desire. And it almost felt like this was 2 straight weeks with 2 different messages. You remember last week when I said the minute that Sean McVay basically stuck his middle finger up and decided to punt on 3rd down of a 1-possession game, just basically run the ball on 3rd and 9. That was when he said this offense sucks. They can't do anything. I feel like DeMeco and Nick Kaylee sent that same message at the end of that first half. That was pathetic. Then you get to the 1-yard line with a chance to go ahead. And what do you do? What do you do? There's a couple of things that you do. First, You run the ball with Chubb out of the shotgun. You don't lose yards. He falls forward. It's close to being a touchdown. And then you take him out and you go in the shotgun. And CJ Stroud misses a couple of throws. He misses Nico Collins. They trusted their quarterback to give their best player a chance to make a catch, and he didn't give him a chance. And here's the other thing I don't get. What the fuck is Dare Ogunbowale doing in the game on the 1 yard line? What is that? Of all the times to have Nick Chubb out there, first of all, he's just as good in pass pro as Dare Ogunbowale. Second of all, he's actually a threat to run the ball. As soon as you put Dare Ogunbowale in the game, I know you're not running the pill. So I don't know what that is about. But they decided to do that. But of all the times to have Nick Chubb on your football team, when you get to the 1 yard line, like maybe handing him the ball at the 1 it makes a little bit more sense than a lot of the stuff they do with him. But your quarterback's got to make the throw. We got to quit blaming everything else. Baker Mayfield got roughed up today. Like we've got to get out of this mindset. Like it's put up or shut up time, people. It's put up or shut up time. This just like take the diapers off and let's really start having a conversation about this football team reaching their ultimate ceiling. Let's start to look at this a little bit and say, okay, yeah, the offensive line's not perfect. I bet you, I would be willing to bet you that Baker Mayfield's probably going to spend more time in the cold tub than CJ Stroud. He got roughed up today. Roughed up. But when his team needed him to make plays, he made plays. When body language expert needed to look over and see the leader of his team, you saw what Baker Mayfield was doing. He was going nose to nose with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He was diving for the pylon. He was giving his receivers chances to make plays. So we can sit here and we can ride or die. I'm not saying that C.J. Stroud is like a finished product. I don't have to sell my C.J. Stroud stock. Because I've thought for a while that he's got to get in that second tier. He's got to prove himself. But games like this just make you wonder. And games like this, if you have standards, you should just kind of wonder how much is on CJ Stroud. I would say let's put it this way. If Baker Mayfield were the quarterback of the Texans, they would be at worst case scenario 1-1. You switch CJ Stroud and Baker Mayfield today, the Texans might run away with that game. Maybe the same with Stafford. So if we're just going to talk individual matchups, and by the way, all three of these quarterbacks that we've watched the last 2 weeks got roughed up. So quit using the offensive line as an excuse. All of them got roughed up. So how much of this is on Stroud? Let me know in the chat. Speaking of the chat, let's go to the soup here on the Locker Room postgame show. We'll hear from DeMeco in a second. We'll hear from CJ as well. You ain't never Swarm. Malik says he wants to blame the GM and Ryans undisciplined team. They get a lot of penalties. Fair enough. Obi says of all NFL starters last 12 regular season games, CJ has the lowest completion percentage, least TDs, third lowest yards per game, 9 INTs, tied for second most. Damn, those are some stats. My goodness. What are the excuses here? Let me read that again. Of all NFL starters last 12 regular season games, CJ has the lowest completion percentage. 58 at 58%, least touchdowns, third lowest yards per game, and 9 INTs. Who we blaming?
Damn it, Bobby.
Oh, I forgot. We're not blaming Bobby anymore. We can't blame Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Can't blame him.
Nick.
We moving the goalpost to Kaylee. We gonna blame Kaylee now for that? Is Kaylee the one who missed Nico Collins? Is Kaylee the one that missed Xavier Hutchinson when you would have hit him running inside the red zone and you threw it behind him? Is Kaylee the one that 9 targets to Nico Collins and maybe 4 of them were catchable, who we blaming? We can blame the O-line? How'd Baker's O-line look? We going Nick? Nick. Or should we just blame Bobby, even though Bobby's not here?
Damn it, Bobby.
Let's blame Bobby. Hell of a stat there, Obi. Hex on the soup says DeMeco, the new Robert Saleh. It's pretty harsh, but I don't know. BG says the Bucs disrespected us from the beginning. They did their pregame speech from the 50 on the bull and beat us at home. CJ lost that game. Okay. Reggie Matthews says offense not only terrible, but it's predictable. I don't feel that way. I really don't feel that way. I agree with the terrible. I'll agree with the terrible. I didn't feel like it was predictable. Like, what plays did you feel like it was predictable? I felt like they mixed it up nice early. They had the throw to Marks. I don't know about predictable. Like, did you know they were going to throw the ball when they got to the 1? I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know that I agree with the predictable thing. But I respect the opinion. Matt Marr, shout out to Matt, says, I'm taking the local flag football team over this Texans team. Gosh, this is where we're at. Lawson says, Dare is a captain. The signs of what was to come were there. They can't quit him, man. They cannot quit him. ESG Soccer says, ex-Patriots are frauds. Kaylee can't get CJ under center from the 1. Casario wasting Mixon money. Higgins, Noah picks. Horrible offensive line. CJ not that bad. CJ was terrible. He wasn't good. And like the whole thing is, okay, you don't want them to. I guess the QB sneak, you just can't do it against Vita Vea. They did it last week on 4th and 2. I guess they're just like so scared. Like there's no chance that they can figure it out. Nick Caley trusted CJ Stroud. Now, if that's the problem at the 1, then maybe so. He trusted him. He couldn't even throw a catchable ball. SG3 saying CJ's not that bad is crazy to me. Like, why are we doing this? Why can we not hold him to some sort of standard? Why are we doing this? Why are we blaming everyone but the most important guy in the franchise? Like, what's the deal with that? Why are we doing that? SG3 says poor investment in offensive line and running back showed clear today. CJ is sloppy. I took the over on Nico targets. Not happy. Yeah, he got the targets. He just didn't get the receptions. The running back they don't take serious. They're not a serious team when it comes to running back. They're really not. And we'll get to this point. It might be frustrating. We'll get to the point where Woody Marks is getting the equal carry share, and it'll probably look pretty good. But haven't gotten there yet, and they just don't know how to balance it. They're unserious. You're putting Dare Ogunbowale in clutch situations. They're unserious at running back. They've been unserious about it for a while. Chase says, get ready for your weekly sermon about discipline and execution and not seeing any of it translate. DeMeco's seat is officially hot. Okay, so you got DeMeco on the hot seat. That's a hot take right there. You already got him on the hot seat. Wow. Yeah, I mean, if DeMeco's got to figure some stuff out. Team player on the soup says, is Stroud actually dealing with a shoulder injury? Now we're going to the injury, huh?
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
So can't blame the O-line. Can't blame Nick. Now shoulder injury. I don't know. I don't know what he does or doesn't got. Ryan Matthews says, always 2 different standards between the offense and defense from Miko. Dare has the longest leash I've ever seen for a 4th string running back. It's pathetic. It's actually pretty embarrassing. At the NFL level, it's actually really embarrassing. I don't understand it. Tate Rodriguez says CJ is in his head. He lacks the ability to make pre-snap changes. The offense is vanilla as hell with no pre-snap movement. Run D is an issue. Why did they draft these rookie receivers? Like, what did they do? I made a mistake because I thought, and this is 100% on me. This is 100,000% on me. I'm taking the blame here. I thought that Jalen Knoll was Christian Kirk's backup. I didn't know he was Braxton Berrios' backup. I had no idea that he was just a return man. I thought it was a good value pick when they got him in the draft, like 69th overall or whatever it was. I didn't know they were just drafting a return man. So I kind of take that back. And he's a good return man, which, by the way, that should have been a block in the back on Tremon Smith, if we're being honest. Like, that was a clear block in the back. Still a good return, but yeah, it was a block in the back. But that's on me. I thought that maybe they would throw him the rock a little bit. He's a non-factor. They're playing Watson and Hutchinson more than him. So that's completely on me. He is just a return man with them. Cougar says, worst play calling from the one I've ever seen. Horizontal run, back corner fade, then roll out to non-dominant hand, legit awful, get north and south. Yeah, I mean, if there's ever a time to have Nick Chubb on your team, just give it to him and let him fall forward. Run the QB sneak. I don't know what they were thinking there, what they were trusting their quarterback. And if you're going to trust your quarterback, he's got to make catchable throws, which I think DeMeco agrees with. The T-Man, shout out to you, my friend. 3 chances on the goal line to get 1 yard, and you run 2 terrible pass plays. Also, prevent defense is terrible. Gave up way too easy on the last drive. They got him to 4th and long, and then Baker Mayfield just, boom, did his thing. We'll get back to the soup in a sec. Let's hear from Demeco, though. Demeco Ryans talking about this. So it is the Locker Room post-game show. Brought to you by Sleeper. Let's hear what old Demeco had to say after this one. And I think he wasn't overly protective of his quarterback.
All right, fire away.
DeMeco, how is the protection for CJ Stroud still such a constant issue for the offensive line?
Yeah, we had communication issues up front, and they got us on some blitzes, things that, we've seen, we work. We have to look at the film to see what those issues were. But we got to, of course, not have those and make sure we're picking things up the right way.
On the when you turn it over on downs near the goal line, what were the problems there on that drive?
Yeah, we tried to run the ball in. We got knocked back there, couldn't get the ball in, and we tried to find Nico there a couple times to get the ball, and we didn't connect. Right, we didn't make the plays we needed to make, and that's the summation of this game. All right, NFL is it's going to come down to a 2-minute drive in the fourth quarter. Are you making plays or not?
I really hate when coaches try to make it sound so simple, like it's not complex. Like there's not any it's really that simple. If you think it's that simple, then that might explain why you're not able to make the plays and why this stuff keeps happening. If it's really that simple, then maybe you're telling on yourself, and maybe there's a reason why, with the exception of 1 year early on, that the offense has looked like it's been chasing its tail and has no business being an NFL offense. Maybe that's the reason. When we talk about the stats that we threw out there, CJ Stroud being the worst quarterback in the NFL the last 12 games, there's no excuse for that. But we try to simplify it. We try to say, oh, well, it's just about making the plays. Okay, yeah, let's simplify it that much. Come on, man.
A lot of guys gave us a chance, right, to win that game. Special teams played outstanding, all right, blocking the kick, getting an explosive return, forcing a missed field goal. So guys showed up and made plays to give us an opportunity. Now, how do you capitalize on that, right? How do you put a team away? You let a good team like this stick around for too long is what we did, and they ended up making a play there. Baker scrambling on 4th down, which we knew that's who he is. That's how he make the plays, is scrambling. He made a big-time play on 4th and 10. We got to find a way to tackle and get him down and stop him there, even on the goal line. We're in position to make a tackle. We got to knock the guy back and make a tackle to win the game. That's what the game comes down to. We had multiple opportunities to win that game, and we didn't make the plays we needed to make.
DeMeco, when it comes to the offensive struggles, do you see it as a fixable issue within the players we have, or do you feel like you need to go out and get more?
No, we got the guys we need. We just have to execute better.
DeMeco, last week, the penalties were more on offense. You had them on defense today. What do you say, or what do you do about the penalties?
Yeah, the penalties on defense, it was very costly penalties, because these penalties gave them first downs. We had a sack. We got them backed up, stopped, and it's just senseless. Like some of the mistakes they were making, hands too high. Again, it goes back to technique, right? We got to make sure we're doing that the right way. And every guy has to be accountable, right, for how you're showing up and how you're playing the game. We got to play clean football, and we can't hurt the team. But right now, those plays and penalties that we had definitely hurt us.
How would you overall assess how CJ played?
I have to look at the film, but obviously if we go out on offense.
Here he comes. I think he's going to kind of criticize Stroud here, but normally he won't say, I'll have to look at the film. Normally, like he'll say Kenyon Green played good, but here he is. This is about as critical as you'll get Demeco of CJ.
It's a collective effort. But if we go 2 for 9 on third down, right, what do we expect? If we can't get the ball in at the goal line, what do we expect is going to happen? Like our guys, everybody on offense got to make plays. Defense, we got to make a play there. We got multiple opportunities at the end of the game to close it out. We got to tackle better, and we got to make the plays. There's no magic secret or any secret sauce. Like we got to stand up and make the plays. If you want to be a big-time player in this league, you got to show up and make plays.
Coach, you all gave up 169 yards rushing today. What was
the run game is definitely not good enough. It starts up front with our tackles. It wasn't good enough. We didn't play our technique the proper way. We didn't tackle well today, and multiple times, their backs did a really nice job running the football, bouncing off of guys. We didn't wrap well. We didn't, finish. So a lot of times we were there, but initial contact, they continued to press forward and make plays, right, to get positive yards in the run game, and we did not tackle well. We did not play technique well up front. And you run the ball for over 150 yards, it's going to come down to tackling and execution, right? And then on the flip side for us offensively, we did not run the ball well, right? Chubb had one, nice run there to get in the end zone, but overall, it's just not good enough in the run game, right? We're getting knocked back at the line of scrimmage. Can't get the play started. So we got to look at it all and see how we can get it fixed.
Can you just talk a little about the importance of the special teams tonight to get the block punt and also for the
I just talked about special team.
Can you just out of curiosity, did you guys consider maybe going for the field goal? I don't want to line.
We did what we wanted to do there. We wanted to go in and score a touchdown.
You mentioned the running game struggles. Do you envision more of a timeshare with Marks and Chubb moving forward?
Say that one more time.
Yeah, it should be
more of a timeshare.
It should be
moving forward.
Yeah, we'll look at it, man. I can't answer that right now. We'll continue to see, what were the actual.
Anyone can see that Woody Marks is someone that needs to touch the ball more. And we knew it last week. We knew it in camp. And then all of a sudden you see it, and it's just like, oh, well, here we go. No, it was obvious. It was obvious. So, yeah, they need to figure that out.
Issues, once you look at the film and see what it is, where the issues are, who gives us our best chance. That's what it's all about.
How do you overall just keep the team together? You guys started 0-2. 2 years ago, you guys obviously started 0-2 still in the playoffs. How do you, in this situation, finally dig yourself out of this hole?
Yeah, it's no hole. We lost the game, right? We lost 2 games, games we should have won. But to win games, you got to play better. You got to coach better. So it starts with me. I got to coach better. We got to play better. We got to execute better. You got to go win games. You're not just going to be giving.
Oh, he is very O'Brien-y lately.
Giving games, right? So we got to find a way to make those plays.
Did you feel like y'all didn't have to try to get Nico Collins the ball in his hands?
Yeah, we got Nico made an outstanding play. There, CJ and Nico connected on a couple passes there. We tried to get him the football, as well down at the goal line when we got stopped. So we tried to get him the ball, but again, we're moving the ball around, spreading it around. A lot of different guys made plays, caught the ball well. We spread it around well, and Nico continued to get his opportunities.
When it comes to the quick game with the offense, you mentioned some of the execution. Was that what kept it from working, or were the Buccaneers ready for the quick game from the quarterback to the wide receivers?
Yeah, the Bucs, they're a really good defense. So I'm pretty sure they were ready to play ball. They're a tough defense. They made plays. They played really well, right? And they forced us into some bad plays, right? Specifically on third down there, and also, when we get the block kick, we're in position there. We kind of sputter on a drive there, and we could have kept it going 3 and out. So the Bucs played really great defense. Credit to those guys. Todd did a really nice job. They finished the game very well.
Overall, how would you assess what kind of went wrong? You got gotten out to the 1-yard line and couldn't punch it in.
I would have to look at the film to see actually what went wrong. I saw the run that didn't work. We didn't have any space. We didn't move anybody off the line of scrimmage is what I saw. So I was getting hit in the backfield. And so went to try to throw the ball, thought we had some matchups. I thought we had an opportunity to hit Nico in the corner there. Ball was out of bounds.
There you go. See? Calling out CJ's throw.
Did you support going into the end zone, or would you have rather you all go down and run more clock?
Yeah, go, man. At that point, just go score. Man, you can look at it. Everybody can go back and look at it. Second guess. What do you do in that point? Like, man, we got to make a stop. We had enough time. Everything. We had enough time to win the game. That wasn't the issue. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily second, third guessing. I think DeMeco sometimes just kind of simplifies things that really don't need to be simplified, and then he always assumes that everything that is a criticism of him is like some sort of big time second guess or something. No, I was sitting by people. They were saying, "Hey, should he go down? He should go down. He should go down." Did they let him score? Now, it would have been the 2-minute warning. Tampa would have had 3 timeouts, 2 or 3. I think 3. And you would have to figure out. The other thing at the end of the game with DeMeco, like when Tampa Bay gets to where they're pretty much in scoring territory, like you might want to use your 3 timeouts. But what DeMeco did was he used his first timeout when the clock was stopped. So they were at midfield, and DeMeco used his first timeout at midfield. Then, with 34 seconds left at the 18, he doesn't call a timeout. That's the time to call a timeout, because they've only got a handful of plays. But he doesn't call a timeout at the 18. He lets the 34 seconds go off. Then he calls another timeout with the clock stopped in 13 seconds. So he used 2 timeouts at the end of the game when you could have saved. I mean, you would have just needed a field goal. I know it's kind of hard to imagine with the way the offense was moving the rock, but you just need a field goal. And he called 2 timeouts when the clock was stopped. Like, how much of a one-sided coach can you be to with 52 seconds left and the clock stopped, you call a timeout. Hey, defense, let's get the perfect play. Still get diced. And then with 34 seconds left, you decide not to call a timeout, and then you call a timeout with the clock stopped. I mean, that was bad clock management. It wasn't like game-costing clock management or anything like that. But, I mean, it would probably be nice to actually stop the clock and not call timeouts when the clock is stopped. Because as soon as they get to the 40, 30, you need to start thinking about the clock. Because they're in 4-down territory no matter what. So I don't know what he was doing there. Between that and what we saw at the end of the first half, where the offense had no interest in scoring, I really don't know what they were doing. And the simp, like, make plays type of thing is it's just getting old. It's just getting old. And we've talked about a lot of stats. And a lot of people want to talk about the Indianapolis Colts right now. The Indianapolis Colts are 2-0. The Texans are 0-2. We're going to do that tomorrow because that's when we're going to put a bow on the week. We push everything back a day because of this. But I just want to give some perspective. And I know the Texans have 2 division titles, and I know that the Texans have 2 playoff wins. And that's what matters most. But the Texans have CJ Stroud, who we think is probably going to get paid a lot after the season. Although I don't know what they're thinking about that right now. Like, if this continues, if this is what you get, how do you even handle that situation when he's eligible for the extension? Who the hell knows? But did you know that Shane Steichen in his 36 regular season games with Anthony Richardson, aka LaFar Jackson, Gardner Minshew, the ghost of Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson again, and Daniel Jones, he has as many regular season wins. He has the exact same record as Demeco Ryans in the regular season, and he doesn't have CJ Stroud. That kind of puts things in perspective. Like as much as there's talk about getting to the next tier and getting the next goal, the coach of the Indianapolis Colts, with the shit sandwich that he has at quarterback, has the same record as you in the regular season. No, by the way, you can say division titles, playoff wins. If his running back doesn't drop a pass, he has as many division titles with Gardner Minshew as you do with CJ Stroud. It kind of makes you think. It kind of makes you think a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's go back to the super chat here on the post-game show. We'll hear from CJ Stroud in a sec.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
EV says conversations need to be had on coaching and GM. Yeah. I mean, that's the standard. I don't think DeMeco should be on any hot seat. I think it's a critical time for him right now, and he's got to figure some stuff out. But I don't think he needs to be on any hot seat. I do think he needs to be held to a little bit of higher standard, like winning division titles. We got tired of it with O'Brien. So, like, when do you get tired of it with DeMeco? Like, that's what you're hanging your hat on? You supposedly have the franchise quarterback, right? Isn't that what we've been saying? We've been saying that the Texans have the franchise quarterback. I haven't, but that's what I've heard. He's going to get paid like it. Where do you think you are right now? Because I'm all about fairness. I'm all about fairness. I remember when Bill O'Brien was getting made fun of because he said, doesn't matter, AFC South champs. He won 3 division titles in 4 years. Bill O'Brien. So at what point do we get tired of it with DeMeco, especially with this BS that he just put at the podium? Bill O'Brien went up there and said, we just got to make plays. We just got to make plays. What would we say? Let's just be fair. I know DeMeco's a legend here. Let's just be fair. Jason Colton, do we move on from CJ? Then what? No, this is what you do right now. First of all, you hope that he gets it together and figures it out. But no, he's in year 3. If he continues to play like this, you're not extending him unless he's going to give you some sort of crazy bargain. But no, you don't move on from him. It's hard to find a quarterback. It's hard to find a quarterback. Like sometimes you just have to make do. That's what Shane Steichen's done. He's won as many regular season games as Demeco Ryans in 36. And he's a drop pass away from having as many division titles with Gardner Minshew as DeMeco has with CJ. It's perspective. We need to open our eyes to the perspective. Okay? Looking up here and looking at Buffalo, Baltimore, you're not in their class. And looking at Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud's not even in Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield's class. So that's the perspective where they're at right now. And that's where you kind of evaluate. It's not a good to great situation. Right now, they just want to stay good because they haven't been good through 2. O'Brien, the whole theme of 2019 or whatever, 2020 was good to great. That's not where they are. They're just trying to stay good. And we need the perspective and we need to understand that. Tier 1, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to, but that's what I think that's how I think the reality of this situation is. Tier 1 says losing games by a couple of misplays. The team has talent. They just can't take the next step. Maybe 0-2 will wake them up. Sure. Nathan Palmer says this is going to be another year of self-destructing after making the playoffs twice in 2013, 2020. Yeah, they're looking to be the first team to ever make it 3 years in a row. I don't know if they're self-destructive yet, but who knows? Sean Collins says, I think CJ is talented. What gets me is how he just clinically, he looks clinically depressed out there. Zero energy. His body language sucks. He said that. It's actually kind of depressing sometimes. And we're going to see him at the podium, and it is sad the way that he looks up there. And I mean, it started last year. And maybe, some guys are just kind of front runners. Like whenever everything's going good or there's not much pressure, like it's fine, but the pressure's increased. And it's easy to go Ohio State and do what you do at Ohio State. And then, the first year it happened, and then how you handle that success and the failures that come with it, I don't know. We'll see. But the body language sucks. I mean, it's not good. Like, that's his own words. Obi says, what were we saying about Deshaun in year 3? Not this. What we were saying, I was there. I was covering the team. This is what we were saying about Deshaun Watson. We were saying, wow, this is going to be an elite quarterback. This is a top 5 quarterback. And if you switched his surroundings with Patrick Mahomes and he had Andy Reid and all that stuff, you got to think that maybe he would be winning championships too. That's what we thought. That was the belief in Deshaun Watson. CJ Stroud's not as good as Deshaun Watson. Okay, like let's just make that very clear. Deshaun Watson at his best and what we've seen from CJ Stroud right now, like what Deshaun Watson gave the Texans from 17, 18, 19, 20, the 4 seasons, really 3.5 because he got hurt. CJ Stroud's not as good as Deshaun Watson. Let's just be serious. It was cool when we saw Deshaun go to Cleveland, and it was a lot of fans got to be able to dance on the grave of Deshaun Watson as the destructing happened and talk about all this stuff. Yes, that was cool. And it felt like you found a franchise quarterback and you were lucky. Cool. But CJ Stroud is not as good as Deshaun Watson was for the Texans. Now, we saw what happened with Deshaun Watson from year 4 to 5, 6, whatever. So it's an untold story. But CJ Stroud is not as good as Deshaun Watson. Let's just be honest with each other and just accept that. I don't even think that's a hot take. Joseph T, shout out to you, my friend. Jay, continuing with the CJ body language. He looks like a deer in headlights out there. Hex 2809 says, I still don't get why Noel doesn't get any targets. Woody needs to be our 3rd down running back. Woody needs to be the number 2 running back. He needs to be the 3rd down running back. I don't know what the deal is with Noel. I thought he was a good receiver. He looked good in camp. Like neither of these rookies are getting opportunities. I don't know what the deal is there. I can't really explain it. I can't just put it on Nick Caley. Sometimes they're out there. They're just not getting looks. Jason says, hit the like button. Appreciate you for looking out, man. Matthew says the 2-point conversion play call was ass. CJ rolled to the left and have to make an awkward throw for any chance. Yeah, they had no chance on that play. He got completely obliterated. Viromaniac says main reason why we drafted so high, his accuracy fell off last year with multiple receivers needing to slide dive for catches. Now it's just gone. Yeah, he was supposed to be, what did he call himself? A throwing specialist or something like that. What was it? Yeah, the accuracy is not good with CJ. Evan says, I mean, CJ hasn't been the best as of any time recently to all, but everyone's saying move on. Who would you want for AJ? No, it's not a move on. It's definitely not a move on. Like Shane Steichen, the Colts would trade for CJ. The Jags would rather have CJ. I don't know that the Titans would give up Cam Ward for CJ. They probably feel good about it, but yeah. R. Sanchez says, do you feel they should have kept trying to run the ball despite not getting much? I don't know. They were clearly intimidated, and they were clearly a little bit hesitant to do it. I don't know about that. I don't think they can run the ball. That's been kind of one of my thoughts early on in camp to now. T again, 2 weeks in a row, the defense did enough to win the game. The offense is average. If the offense is average, we're 2-0. Probably right. Although the defense did have a chance to end the game. They did give up 5 yards a carry to Tampa Bay. Playful says, thought Caley called a decent game. CJ just not special and can't make up. Yeah, I don't, the Nick Caley thing, I don't think he called that bad of a game. I think the quarterback didn't do him any favors. That's me. 21 Savage, it was good meeting you at Spanky's, by the way. We'll be back at Spanky's the 26th out there in Sharpstown. So we look forward to seeing more people, myself and Cody. We're going to be doing that for a while. Hell of a time. And we're going to have plenty planned with them as time goes. So be sure to meet us out there at Spanky's. 21 Savage says, I'm usually on the it's not on CJ camp, but he just didn't execute. Hearing footsteps, seeing ghosts, and missing easy throws, still have faith. Yeah, 0-2 is not the end of the world, especially with the extended playoffs. Sean Castillo says CJ got 2 left feet. It disrupts his throwing. Oh, CJ's getting cooked. Izzy says CJ is not him. Does the dude ever step up in the pocket, extend the play, and throw the ball? Dude needs a perfect pocket to make a damn throw. Yeah, there was one time where he stepped up really good. But yeah, I mean, he missed some throws. The throw to Hutchinson was just really rough. And that was on the that was on drive number 9, where CJ throws it way behind Hutchinson. And this was after the pump block. You come right after the pump block, you come out there and you take a shot. And if he leads Hutchinson's at least in the 20. He might have a chance to break a tackle, but he throws it behind Hutchinson. Perfectly drawn up play. That's not Nick Caley's fault. Throws it behind him. Then you have Nick Chubb stuffed. And then Stroud throws what would have been probably the most embarrassing ending to a game. He nearly throws an interception to the D lineman. And fortunately for him, for CJ, he drops it. Evan says there's nobody in free agency better than Stroud. No, there's not. I mean, he's not awful. He's just not elite. And he hasn't been better than any of the quarterbacks on the opposing teams up to this point. Jake says, when is the CJ coddling going to stop? He played terrible tonight. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets benched if they lose to the Jags. Hot take, I know. Are people calling for Davis Mills yet? Is that a thing? Zach. Shout out to Zach. He says he's 29. What a good age. Started watching this team in 03. My dad's told me over and over, Houston football is cursed. Same crap, different year. Enjoy your content. Yeah, I don't know if they're cursed, but it does feel like they've had a lot of the same similar issues. O-line, everything like that. ESG says Petrie was hunted down and cooked. Gave up a ton of rushing yards, missed tackles everywhere. CJ and O were bad, but D lost it. Massive time possession difference. Yeah, it was like 2-1. Look, the Petrie thing is a juggling act. The fact that he got the contract after last year is weird. He's also getting banged up close to the line of scrimmage. He's getting seeked out. I mean, there was one time where he was lined up man-to-man against Sterling Shepard, and Baker Mayfield didn't look anywhere else. I think that's the difference between Baker Mayfield and CJ Stroud. Baker Mayfield sees these types of things. Like, he goes to the line of scrimmage and sees, okay, there's number 5. I'm going to cook him. CJ doesn't really do that. And like when we talk about the lollygagging, we talk about miscommunication, like the notion that just because he got more control at the line of scrimmage was going to be a good thing. We're kind of learning that there might at least, at best case scenario, there's at least going to be some growing pains on it. Jason Hall on the soup says, did we jump the gun on we were out of the rebuild? They're definitely not in a rebuild right now. We're going to show you that. They're good enough to win games. Danny says they saw Woody play good and said no thanks. Dominic Castillo, tired of seeing Agumbawale on third downs and Chubb stuff first downs every drive. The Agumbawale thing is going to drive me crazy. It's been driving me crazy for a few years. Shano says quite literally a bleep storm on all fronts. Rick the Sticks 1-3. Trade Christian Harris, trade Petrie, and trade the wide receiver depth for interior line. Yeah, I don't know if it's that easy. MH Wheat Nation says, is Gerard even helping CJ? I don't know what Gerard does or doesn't do. Like, I don't know how to judge when a QB coach is really, really good and a QB coach is okay and a QB coach is really, really bad. I really don't know. I know they got rid of the O-line coach last year. They got rid of the O-linemen. They got new receivers. And Gerard's still there. Your guess is as good as mine. I know he's getting a lot of credit when it was going well. I don't know if he's blame free or what. I don't know. Playful says this team is what it is, and CJ is not special. Fair. Johar 1. Do we still believe Caserio is the man for the job? When does the running back room matter? When they were just going to rely on Mixon this year, and then they brought in Nick Chubb, and Marks and Dargun Bawali will probably be here till he's 60. They can't quit him. Voss says, appreciate the show. Never expected to feel this about the team a year ago. Saw potential, tired of potential. 7 trade requests are future. If CJ Stroud requests a trade, that would be hilarious, actually. That would actually be kind of crazy. T says we can't pick OCs. Bucs have a rookie OC and he demolished DeMeco. Baker Mayfield has gotten 2 OCs jobs, head coaching jobs. I mean, they got their ass whooped on defense too, physically. There's no denying that. JP says, so was Bobby the problem? Or what so do we think now? No, there's not as much Bobby. Evan says, I'm a depressed H-Town fan. I'm on a slump. Good night, town. Might not tune in until week 17. Good night, Landry. Stay blessed. You stay blessed too, my friend. You stay blessed too, my friend. Let's hear from CJ. The man of the hour or not. Let's hear what CJ Stroud's got to say. And man, look at this guy. Look at that. CJ looks pretty sad.
On that fourth down play, you're rolling left. Do you prefer to roll out left versus right? Does that matter to you at all?
No, it does not.
Hey, CJ, DeMeco talked about some communication challenges. Were those some of the issues when you guys got down in the red zone late in the game?
Communication in what way?
He just said there was some communication challenges.
I didn't have any communication issues. I thought we split the play pretty clean and we were just lining up. Some guys weren't set, so I had to get Higgs set on the fourth down. And other than that, I mean, that's kind of normal, but I didn't really, not anything down there that I can remember.
When y'all had the ball at the 1 yard line, what went wrong in your opinion there?
Just didn't get the ball in the end zone. It was kind of plain, kind of simple. I don't know. We just didn't get the ball in the end zone. That's all I could really think of.
Is it disappointing that y'all had so many opportunities to,
of course,
win this game, put this game away, and you weren't able to capitalize on the opportunities tonight?
Yeah, it is.
Well, the 2 games where you think it's just kind of been more or less the inability to consistently get into the end zone with the time that you guys do have?
It's a young offense, don't really, can make a bunch of excuses, but we're just not getting it done. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And, we're moving the ball pretty well. Just got to put 7 on the board. And that's the big difference right now. So, yeah.
CJ, what did you notice in the opening touchdown pass to DeMeco?
Sorry?
What did you notice in the opening touchdown pass to DeMeco?
Heck of a catch. I thought, did a good job in that first drive, just staying down, just staying committed to, our plan, not wavering. And I thought Nico did a good job of just keep running. Corner played it good, just try to put in a spot on he can get. Yeah, I think it was a heck of a catch.
You mentioned a young receiving core, not that many guys you have experience with. Do you feel like this offense misses Tank's presence and your guys' chemistry right now?
We can say a bunch of different things about, who's out, who's not. Hig and J-No and J-Watt, Hutch, Neek, they're doing a good job in there, we just got to, find ways to get them the ball in space more. Thought, Kels did a good job of that today, but, it's always evident, it's the bad things that everybody points out, but that's the NFL, you can't, let guys hang around and, give them a shot to come back. That's what they'll do. So, but I thought our young guys handled it as best as they could. Of course, there's always things to clean up, but yeah, it's no excuse in that. Like, we just got to make more plays.
We got time for a few more, Jonathan, and start with Cam.
CJ, what if anything that you felt like the Bucs did a lot better after the first 2 drives after you all had that success?
I just started pressuring a little more, especially on third down, just big stunts and, just slant our D-line in ways. Other than that, like, the back end, they just double Nico a lot, which we kind of presumed that they were going to do. But yeah, I just those plays we're going 3 and out, or we're just not sustaining drives. Those are the ones that lose us the game. Of course, not coming up short on the goal line is tough as well, and that's evident as well. But there's a bunch of different things we can clean up.
Yep, sorry.
CJ, coach said that you all need to improve in the running game. On tonight, you all had some really good plays on in the passing game. How do you all get those two to match up?
Just continue to do it, continue to play. It's a long season. It's week 2. Hopefully we learned our lessons and learn to put teams away and learn to, put points on the board. So we can say a bunch of different things and what could have went right. But at the end of the day, it's about winning games, and those plays that are in between, those are the games. Those are the plays that you end up winning or losing on. So in my opinion, I think that's, what we got to get better at, is just making more plays and sustaining drives.
Hey, CJ, as a leader on this team, you've been here before. In your rookie season, you guys got off to a slow start. What do you say to your teammates as you guys, get ready for next week, but try to keep your head up, because 0-2 is not over?
Yeah, just stay together. Stay committed to one another, trust in one another. The sun will rise in the morning. It's not the end of the world, but at the same time, we all get paid a service, to do a job, and we got to get those jobs done at a faster rate. And yeah, I think as a team, we got to just stay together. Everybody's gonna talk crazy, and we suck, we this, we that, and at the end of the day, we got to stay together and just mesh well, and be honest, have hard conversations. But I think right now we need more confidence as an offense, at least. Just confidently playing better together. I think that's a big thing. We haven't played together, a lot of us. So the more confidence that we build, I think the better that we'll be off.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That's CJ. Kind of the same mannerisms that we saw last year when things got bad. So that's just kind of where CJ is. I guess if you want to hold off hope for this team, 2 winnable games the next 2 weeks, and maybe Christian Kirk is that important to this offense. Maybe Christian Kirk is just that important to this offense. Maybe. I don't know if that's a good thing, though, with how often he's hurt, but maybe that's where we're at.
Captain Kirk has arrived. I repeat, Captain Kirk has arrived.
Not yet. Not yet. He is not yet. Let's get to some of the comments on the soup. And you should look, if you want to ride and die with the QB, ride and die with the QB. He hasn't been the best quarterback the last 2 weeks, and the other quarterbacks have gotten roughed up. So it's okay to hold him to a standard. I see some people in the chat. CJ can do no wrong. No wrong. That's fine. That's good. It's good to support your quarterback. It's good to have a quarterback that you ride and die with. That's good. But I hold him to a higher standard. But if you don't, you don't. DJ Hash Brown on the soup.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm says this team is built on relationships, not a meritocracy. So you're saying there's like favorites or what? The Shape says, do you think we beat the Jags next week? Look, I thought they were going to beat the Bucs. I'm going to have to start out Reaction Monday tomorrow on SNL, drinking some apple cider vinegar. So I thought they were going to win this week. I did not think the defense would get physically dominated, and I thought CJ would respond a little bit better. Didn't happen. He wasn't good. If you don't want to hold him to a standard and you want to not, that's fine. People are asking about his shoulder. I was worried about the shoulder. I was worried about the shoulder from the jump. When he's getting held out, he's doing the exercises. It's been a problem for a while. I was worried about the shoulder. I was worried about that. Kareem says a lot of awful right now. CJ looks cooked out there mentally. O-line was pretty awful. Defense undisciplined and gets ran through. Ravens about to pound that. Man, you still got 2 games before that. Yes, you still got 2 games before that. VS says it feels like there is no rhythm at all with the O. They started out good, man. They started out good. Jason Silver, a meat writer. He says Landry wants him to be smiling as big as he's been listening to all this negative CJ Stroud talk today. I want CJ Stroud to succeed. That's good for my business. That's good for the city. That's good. That's fine. I'm going to objectively call him out and hold him to a standard, but I want CJ Stroud to do good. I've made that very clear. I enjoy CJ Stroud. You don't have to take out your anger on me, Jason. If you want to move the goalpost and be dramatic and sensitive and say people think he should be smiling, that's fine. Don't take your meat riding out on me though, brother. I want CJ Stroud to be good. It doesn't matter whether I wanted Bryce Young or not. I want CJ Stroud to be good. It helps me. But if you need someone to take out your meat riding, I'll take it. But no, I want CJ Stroud to succeed. Trust me. The people that I talk to on a daily basis are much happier when that happens. So you ain't got to take it out on me, brother. If you want to, it's cool though. Matt Marr says CJ looks like me after my dog died. Ouch. Ouch. Voss says, hilarious, sure, but you don't have to have a QB. You have nothing. I'm not filling another 3-year process, just hoping. I don't think it's that serious. I mean, they can fix the surroundings. It just might be more dependent on surroundings than you thought. It's not like a clear elevation. It's not a finished product. I mean, they started out 0-2 a couple of years ago. So there's that. I'm sure that's going to be Texans radio. Mark Vandermeer's been setting this up for a while, though. I've said they could start out 0-2. That's gonna be him tomorrow on Texans radio. For sure. Y'all are being mean to Jason now. Jason's just a sensitive meat rider. It's okay. I don't have a problem with it. I think you should ride and die with your quarterback too. He's a whiner. T says, I think there's something that has been figured out. McVay and the Bucs ran similar concepts. Liam Cohen isn't stupid. Lucky Lawrence is awful. Okay, let me gather myself on this. I think there's something that has been figured out. McVay and the Bucs ran similar concepts. Liam Cohen isn't stupid. Isn't it too early to have it figured out? I don't know that there was anything figured out. I think it's just as simple as the offensive line getting their ass whooped sometimes and CJ not making throws. In a combination of that, I don't know that there's anything similar. Dare 1.4 PFF pass pro LMAO, 3 pressures allowed in 7 plays. As bad as a flyover in a closed stadium. Yeah. I'm not going to try to explain the Dare thing. Zinister says CJ started declining and lost his smile after that Amber Rose stuff. She sucked his soul out. Jeez. It's a hell of a that's a hell of a concept. Shano says this is what happens when you wear a Mariners hat. Well, he kind of jinxed the Mariners. Mariners. Kind of jinxed them. And then he didn't. Shano says this is what happens when you wear the Mariners hat. We already read that. Nick says, can we get a staff that can build an offense? The franchise really about to break another damn good QB with the poor O-line play. 20 years, the same song. Yeah, the offensive line's got to be better. The offensive line's definitely got to be better, but it's not. Baker Mayfield's offensive line isn't good. And there's a lot of teams that have poor offensive lines, and sometimes the quarterback overcomes it. So sometimes it's just like that. T says, I mean, a defensive concept. Quick passes seem to be a kryptonite and sideline fades. Yeah, the quick game kind of non-existent. Not great. No Limit Mar says, y'all got to chill on CJ. He'll be fine. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. H-Town 94 says that no more first-year play callers. You know, Tampa Bay had a first-year play caller, right? They had a first-year play caller this year. They had a first-year play caller the year before. They had a first-year play caller the year before that. So, like, what? Everyone has been a first-year play caller at one point. You that's a weird thing to say. Like, if you think Nick Caley individually sucks, cool. If you think Bobby Slowick individually sucked, although I don't think you had a problem with his first year. I don't think you were saying, I don't need a first-year play caller when Bobby Slowick was the OC and CJ did what he did, one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen. So this is just like, it's kind of over the top when it comes to like some of the stuff that we blame. This was a first-year play caller that they faced Tampa Bay. Was there a problem with it? No. So like, it's not just a first-year play caller thing. That's just kind of a weird way of looking at it. There's no sense to that. The first-year play caller thing. I just don't agree with that. Nathan Palmer says, I trust DP a lot in more in pass protection than Dart. I don't know about that. I trust Woody Marks. I don't know that I trust Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce, by the way, inactive today. Inactive. Not great. I don't blame Nick Caley for this loss at all. I don't blame him for this at all. I think this one's on a number of things, but I don't blame Caley for this. I didn't think he was great, but I don't blame him for this. B is trash. Appreciate you, my friend. You can blame Caley. He wasn't great. Run the ball 3 times from the goal line. Yeah, I mean, they ran the QB sneak last week. Maybe they didn't run it at Vita Vea. Maybe they didn't want to run it at him regardless. But yeah, if you're going to have Nick Chubb on your team, I agree with you on that. And I don't know why they drafted these rookies if they're just not going to play them. It feels very O'Brien-y. Feels very O'Brien-y. Let's go through the big plays in a sec. First, though, let's get some positive stuff going. What Lovie Smith used to say, let's focus on the positives. Something that is positive is Texans turf. It is one of the best things I did to my home, and I love what Dan and his team do. I love that I shopped around before, and I was able to find Texans turf. And I appreciate what they did for my backyard. They can do the same for you. Putting greens, they got that. And you'd be surprised at how good of a price it is. It's good for the kid. It's good for the pet. It's good for the fire pit. It eliminates the dirt, the insects, all that. A lot of people see the turf. They don't really know what to do. But I did shop around for you, and Texans turf was where I landed. So let Dan and his team do their thing for you. Go to texansturf.com. Promise you won't regret it. The best thing I did for my home. Speaking of Texans turf, though, we have the Kings of the Turf. This one wasn't as easy as it usually is. The Texans turf, Kings of the Turf. We have 5. Spoiler alert. There will be no one on offense. Well, maybe one. Turf King number 1, Jalen Knoll. He might not be able to play receiver for whatever reason. Hell of a return man, though. I don't know how Braxton Berrios comes back and returns punts over Jalen Knoll. Big 12 special teams player of the year. I don't think you can take him out of the lineup. Now, does Berrios come back and maybe return kicks or something? I don't know. But I don't think you can take Jalen Knoll away from returning punts. He's got to be that guy. So that's Turf King number 1, special teamer, Jalen Knoll. Turf King number 2, Jakob Johnson. Not for his contributions on offense, which were up and down, but he blocked the punt. He blocked the punt and gave the Texans a chance to win the game. He and EJ Speed both moved pretty well. Frank Ross's special teams. If we gave coaches Kings of the Turf, perhaps Frank Ross could have got one, but it's going to be Jakob Johnson. Turf King number 3, Daniil Hunter. Kind of quiet last week, not this week. Danielle Hunter had a hell of a game. So did Will Anderson, but Danielle Hunter was all over the place. Turf King number 4. He dropped an interception, which when you look back would have been massive, but he did run stride for Ibuka, and there's just a difference when he's on the field, and you can tell they kind of feed off of the energy. Turf King number 4, Azeez Al-Shire. And Turf King number 5, the only interior D lineman that played good today, I think, Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon Rankins has been pretty good so far. The rest of the D linemen, not great. You heard DeMeco talk about that. But Sheldon Rankins number 5. Shout out to Texans Turf. Shout out to Dan and his team for doing what they do. So let's go through the start of the game. And before we do, I Must Pandeline. Shout out to I Must Pandeline. She's talking about the O-line. She says, y'all keep crying about the O-line, but CJ is not hitting wide open players, just holding the ball. He's either scared to make throws or he needs glasses. Yes, he's missing wide open receivers. He's missing wide open receivers. And when the complaint is that they threw the ball on the 1, are they trusting the quarterback too much? Because the throws weren't even catchable. Like Nico Collins had no chance. So yes, the O-line's not great. Neither was Baker Mayfield's. Baker Mayfield did, what did DeMeco say? Make the plays. Baker made the plays. Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than CJ Stroud. That's not, I mean, it's not hard to say. It's easy to see right now. Like with where we are right now, with where we've been the last couple of years, maybe even the last 3, if you combine all 3. Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than CJ Stroud right now. It's just kind of where it is. So we start out this game. We start out with Dameon Pierce being inactive. I thought this was a fine decision by them. Dameon Pierce inactive, healthy scratch. The running back thing is a bad situation, but Dameon Pierce healthy and active, no problem with that. Now, Woody Marks, we thought maybe we would see, but we did not. We did get the same O-line, and quite frankly, right off the top, the Texans' opening drive touchdown, they looked fantastic. Hell of a response. First touchdown of the season. CJ Stroud to Nico Collins. Nick Chubb kind of sets the tone. You got Xavier Hutchinson, move the chains. You had the screen pass to Chubb. I didn't know they were allowed to throw screens in Houston anymore. And then you had the Nico Collins 29-yard touchdown pass. Texans go up 7-0. So whatever the hell Nick Caley scripted, whatever the offense practiced, well done. Nick Chubb, screen pass, touchdown to Nico Collins. That started out fantastic. And I thought that running back screens had to go to the zoo because they're an endangered species around here. But we saw it with Nick Chubb, and it looked good. Then a missed opportunity, and this is kind of where we go to the nitpicking of the defense, and we talk about expecting a lot from the defense. But Azeez Al-Shire, you run stride for stride with Emeka Egbuka. You look back, Baker Mayfield, we said he was going to give you opportunities for gifts. Azeez Al-Shire didn't accept the gift from Baker Mayfield. It went right in his hands, and then it fell to the turf. So Azeez did not take advantage of that, and they immediately responded. Tampa Bay tied it at 7. Baker Mayfield, good Baker, bad Baker. They score. Then Woody Marks comes in. Woody sparks the offense. You saw Woody Marks with the run up the middle for 4, and then you saw Woody Marks with the 37-yard reception. What a concept. A guy who's one of the most successful receiving running backs in recent college football history. You throw him the ball in the flats instead of Dari Gumbwale. How about that? What did we say last week? Oh, well, Dari made the play before the fumble. Okay, Woody Marks would have done that. Woody Marks took it for 37. And that would kind of be all we saw from him, although he did have a hell of a A hell of a blitz pickup. Then Emeka Egbuka. Touchdown gives him a 14-10 lead. And Jalen Petrie left with a rib injury. He ended up coming back, but Emeka Egbuka, 3 touchdowns through 2 weeks. Popular name leading up to the draft. Texans really never had the opportunity to get him. Then the first half, the final drive of the first half, I thought was awkward. I thought this was weird. There didn't seem to be any urgency. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if that's a Kaylee thing. I don't know if that's a CJ thing. I don't know if it's a DeMeco thing. But they did not seem interested in scoring. Despite the fact you get a 7-yard run early on from Woody Marks, they just kind of slow down the tempo. They take it down to the 2-minute warning. They end up getting sacked, and then next thing you know, bye-bye. Thought that was weird. Just awkward, no urgency. And maybe it was just kind of a message of what they think of their offense. Then you had kind of a 2-piece combo, and this was kind of cruel to people who were kind of tired of Dare Ogunbowale, and they wanted to see more Woody Marks. You have Woody Marks with one of the best blitz pickups that you'll ever see, and then you have Dare Ogunbowale just get thrown to the turf, and then CJ Stroud gets thrown to the turf as a result of it. Texans getting physically dominated. Then you had Azeez Al-Shire go down. In Tampa Bay, they missed their opportunity to take the lead. They kicked the field goal, or to extend their lead. They kicked the field goal off the goalpost, and the Texans defense gives them some life. Then I'll be damned, they threw the ball to a rookie. First play of the fourth quarter, 28-yard gain to Higgins. They threw the ball to him. This was the first target that a rookie receiver got. You take 2 receivers in the first 70 picks. The guy in front of them is down, and 1 target right there to Jaden Higgins. Moves the chains 28 yards. Then on 3rd and 11, CJ finds Dalton Schultz to set up 1st and goal. And that's when we have the Texans failing to get 1 yard on 3 plays. Capped off by CJ Stroud missing Nico Collins. Didn't even give him a chance to catch the rock. Then you just kind of felt like the defense or special teams had to make a play. You felt like they did. Christian Harris makes a play, and then he gets a psycho penalty. He's like hitting his head and stuff and ends up getting a face mask. But then the defense gets a stop. Frank Ross special teams give you an opportunity. You get the pump block. You get the ball at the 35. Then CJ Stroud misses Xavier Hutchinson wide open inside the 20. Missed him. This was the opportunity right here to take the lead at the 35. Just a simple in route that I think we've seen CJ Stroud make that throw a number of times. For whatever reason, the accuracy isn't there. He misses Xavier Hutchinson. You end up having to settle for a 51-yard field goal to cut the lead to 1. So again, offensive line, bad. Everything that comes with the offense, bad. But CJ Stroud, bad. Misses Xavier Hutchinson. Then more special teams, more Frank Ross special teams. You have the 53-yard punt return to set up the Texans for a potential win. Jalen Knoll could have been a block in the back on Tremont Smith, but he makes the play. And then Nick Chubb with 2:10 left. He scores the touchdown. Now the question is, should Nick Chubb have gone down? It's kind of a tough situation because Tampa Bay has their timeouts. If Tampa Bay didn't have their timeouts, then that would have been interesting. But you had the 2-minute warning coming up. Now, if it had been on the other side of the 2-minute warning, perhaps, but you score the touchdown. What would you have wanted Nick Chubb to do? Go down inside the 5 and try to score? Like run the ball a few times? This is kind of a tweener. This is kind of a tweener area. I get it. And you did wonder, okay, is it better for Tampa Bay to let them score? But in this situation, score the touchdown. You've had trouble scoring touchdowns. If you make the 2-point conversion, you're up the full 7 points. I didn't have a problem with this, but I do understand both sides of it. It's a lot of kind of hindsight ish, but it is kind of a question that a lot of people ask when they're watching games. But then the Bucs just march down the field and they take the win. They take the win. And there was really nothing that I think DeMeco probably should have used his timeouts. He used 2 timeouts when the clock was stopped. And he let the clock go. Like maybe if you leave 30 seconds, 35, then you might have a chance. But I thought the time management by DeMeco was bad, especially once they got inside the 18, 35 seconds left. Use your timeouts. But he waited till the clock was stopped. I guess he just thought that he could give like a good pep talk to the defense that was getting roughed up. But I thought that was a mistake, and that's all she wrote for the Texans. Let's go back to the soup.
You ain't never had Swarm.
Viro says next draft, no trades, just draft all O-line. There's no guarantee that they're going to do well drafting O-line either. I mean, that's another issue in itself, but Drew Scruggs was a second-round pick. Blake Fisher was a second-round pick. Ursary had some ups and downs today. Second-round pick. Kenyon Green was a first-round pick. So, I mean, what the offensive line evaluation, I think we kind of ask, what's up with that? So, yeah, I get it. Like, if you could just say, okay, give me a good guard, give me a good center, whatever, maybe so. But they've drafted offensive linemen. They haven't. It's not like they haven't. MH We Eat Nation, I remember a Hard Knocks episode in 2015 in which the whole offense got chewed out. I want the same to happen here, but it's not going to do nothing. Damn, that's defeated. 2-piece. Yeah. I feel what you're saying. Not a great game. Not a great game, but 0-2. Not great. But yeah, DeMeco probably at the end of the game maybe leave some time for your offense potentially. But I mean, let's be honest, they didn't have confidence in the offense to really try to score at the end of the first half. So they really believe. I don't know. Chargers just improved to 2-0. So in the NFL right now, if we look at the standings, right now the Texans are there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 winless teams. Chiefs are in the group too. So the Chiefs are in the same position as you if you want to feel good. And then it's just a bunch of crappy teams. Saints, Jets, Dolphins, Panthers, Bears, Browns, Titans, Giants. That's the company you're in. You got the same record as the Chiefs. How about that? That makes you feel better. Biggest takeaways from the L before we get out of here. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this thing. Shout out to Dan the Man out there at Texans Turf. There's 3 takeaways I have that I'll leave with before I get ready for Reaction Monday tomorrow with Cody Stoots, as well as the Texans Collective at 6. And then we get to that. Number 1, just complete physical domination by the Bucs. Whether it's offense, defense, it was physical domination. And we expect the Texans offensive line to get physically dominated. I think it's realistic. But the way the defense got kind of roughed up, 5 yards a pop, and I know it's tough for the defense because there's just no margin for error. But I thought this was kind of a physically dominated domination by the Bucs. That's number 1. Number 2, and I'll go 5 deep. Number 2, Stroud left a lot to be desired. It's okay to say, that you didn't love what Nick Caley did. It's okay to say that you didn't love what the offensive line did. But Stroud left a lot to be desired. He left a lot to be desired. He's got to be better than that. He's got to be. Number 3, where are the rookie wideouts at? You drafted all these you drafted all these guys, and they're nowhere to be found. Jalen Knowles, like a non-factor. Jaden Higgins isn't getting the ball. Like, you drafted these wide receivers. We see wide receivers, young wide receivers all around the league making plays. Like, what's the deal here? What gives? Is Christian Kirk that important? Is there some sort of learning curve? Is this kind of Bill O'Brien, the rookies don't know anything? Like, what's going on? Because you have these rookies that seem to have some sort. I mean, Jaden Higgins has made a couple of big plays. I think he's got 2 explosive plays. I don't even know how many targets he had. Does he even have 5 targets? How many targets does Jaden Higgins have? Because I think he has 2 24-yard catches. So where's he at? Where's Noel at? Don't know. Number 4, this defense isn't elite right now. They're good, but they got to figure something out. This defense is not, that was not an elite performance by the defense. That was not an elite performance by the defense. So the confidence in the defense, it's not gone. Still very talented defense, not elite so far. And the final one is the way that they end halves is not good. It wasn't good last week against the Rams. It wasn't good today. And the end of the game, just a suspect. DeMeco, use the timeout. Stop the clock, man. Stop the clock. You took those home with you. Not great. That's the end of it. Sucks to be 0-2, but crazier things have happened. Matter of fact, it happened 2 years ago. Indianapolis looking good. You don't have them till late in the season. It's on to Jacksonville. And then you got the Titans. So we'll see how it goes. But they've got to figure some stuff out. They got to do some soul searching. Tomorrow, I think DeMeco's media availability is going to be via Zoom. And then they'll be back at it. It's on to Jacksonville. I think they open as a 1-point dog in Jacksonville. So we will see where that goes right now with the Texans. Defense was not elite, but the AFC South's been very good to Demeco Ryans. And we'll see if that continues. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. Shout out to Sleeper. Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, whether 2-0, 0-2, whatever, we're all in it together. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we top 2 and we not 2. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days. Opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.